From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Friday, October the 9th, right now on Good Morning Indiana. Hospitals responding to a surge in patients as COVID-19 cases continue to rise in Indiana. Voting absentee. Officials say to do it as soon as possible. What you need to know if your ballot gets delayed.
And this is a great way to experience that while also getting out and helping the hospitality community.
The pandemic taking a major toll on the tourism industry. How you can take advantage of discounts to Indianapolis museums, the zoo, and much more. And despite the pandemic, one organization is making sure students can still enjoy their annual field trip. We'll show you how they're introducing kids to manufacturing online. It is a great Friday in the making. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana. I'm Rafael Sanchez. Our good friend Lauren Casey is taking the day off today. She'll be back on Monday. And Todd, another reason for people who live in Lawrence and McCordsville to be proud. I was driving along US 36 yesterday. The fall foliage was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, those communities. I'm saying I almost bought a house just driving in those two cities.
Yeah, you know, we're getting certain trees, especially the maple trees right now, are really starting to turn, giving you those nice vibrant colors. And I was down in Brown County earlier in the week, and they're getting a little closer to peak, not quite there yet. Yeah, the foliage really starting to turn a little earlier than normal with all the dry conditions across the area. And this weekend will be a great day if you just want to take a drive and check out the leaves anywhere across central Indiana with the dry conditions, 40s and 50s this morning. As you get going on this Friday morning, we made it to the end of the week. So that is the good news. Looking ahead to the weekend, skies are clear. There were a few clouds earlier this morning. They've now faded away. Skies will be mostly sunny throughout the morning hours. Eventually this afternoon, some of these clouds from the south will start to drift to the north, impacting southern locations. They're just out ahead of Hurricane Delta. That'll make landfall later on this evening. So mostly sunny skies to start our day here. Temperatures warm really quick with a southwesterly wind kicking in. 78 degrees by 1 p.m. Highs, though, today will be topping off in the low to mid 80s. We'll talk more about the afternoon and into your weekend in more detail for you coming up in just a few minutes.
So, Todd, right now we are monitoring a trouble spot. This is now coming in from the city's northeast side. As you can see right here, a live look at 465 at Fall Creek Road. The left northbound lane of 465 blocked at Shadeland Avenue due to a crash. We'll continue to monitor the situation. It doesn't seem to be affecting traffic that much in that area, but again, we're just beginning the height of rush hour, so we will keep a close eye on that throughout the morning. The time now is 6:04, and the number of new COVID-19 cases in Indiana are nearly at a record high, and hospitals are seeing more patients with the virus. In the latest report, the State Department of Health reports that 1,488 new cases of the virus, and that brings the state's total to 129,677. 16 new deaths were also confirmed. The state's death toll has now surpassed 3,500 since the pandemic began. For the fourth day in a row, the State Department of Health is reporting more than 1,000 COVID patients in hospitals across our state. The latest update shows 1,100 patients statewide. IU Health Ball Hospital in Muncie in Delaware County says it's seeing an all-time high in COVID-19 patients. In a social media post, the chief medical officer of IU Health's East Region says the Muncie Hospital and more along I-69 are extremely busy. The message urged the community to be vigilant, to wear a mask, and practice social distancing. They ask if you or a loved one are showing symptoms of COVID-19 to call ahead to your doctor, a nearby hospital, or use IU Health's free virtual screening clinic to help minimize exposure. The time now is 6:05, and since the pandemic began, Indy businesses have taken a major financial hit, especially those in the tourism industry. This morning, WRTV's Kelsey Anderson, she joins us live with how one organization is hoping to bring you back to downtown Indianapolis to visit and to shop and to do so much more. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Rafael. So obviously tourism is down this year in Indianapolis, and after the pandemic started in March, everything had to shut down. So now Visit Indy is working to bring you back downtown with the Indy Attraction Pass.
The hospitality and tourism industry has been one of the hardest hit by this pandemic.
Nate Swick works for Visit Indy. He says about 40,000 hospitality workers in the Circle City are still unemployed as businesses start to slowly open back up.
It's an industry that typically employs over 80,000 employees.
So he and Visit Indy are trying to get things back on track with the Indy Attractions Pass. The pass can get you into the Idle Jordan Museum, the Indiana State Museum, the Indianapolis Zoo, the Children's Museum, and Conner Prairie, all for one set fee, and the pass is delivered right to your phone.
You either do a one-day pass or a three-day pass, and we think this will be kind of a way to draw new people into the city who maybe haven't had the chance to buy these. Maybe it's been out of their price point or they just haven't pulled the trigger yet. And so this is a really good reason to do that, but also to drive people back downtown who haven't necessarily been downtown in the last 6 months.
He wants downtown guests to know these venues are safe to come to.
Everybody is making sure that it's the safest way possible to welcome visitors back to the city. So everything from the Children's Museum to the zoo, the State Museum, all these entities have worked together in numerous ways alongside the city to make sure that it's safe and a fun way to come back, because you need to make sure that you get some of the same experience, but in a safe way.
Swick tells me they think this pass will benefit more than just the attractions listed.
You go to the museum, then you might stay downtown at a hotel, or you might also go to a restaurant, which also all need the help right now.
So there is a way to kind of extend that pass and get a little bit more bang for your buck. So if you buy that one-day pass, you actually have 24 hours. So for example, let's say you come here to the Children's Museum at noon on a Friday. As long as you go to any of those other attractions before noon on Saturday, you can kind of turn that one-day pass into a two-day pass if that's what you choose. So those are available right now over on visitindy.com. They are good for 90 days, but if you do the 3-day pass, you do have to use it in 3 consecutive days. You basically just have 72 hours. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you so much. So don't forget to visit Indy and shop local. The time now is 6:08. Another Indianapolis holiday tradition is going virtual. Yes, you guessed it, because of the pandemic. The Junior League's Holiday Mart, normally held in November at the Indiana State Fairgrounds, will now take place online. The event typically hosts nearly 150 vendors and thousands of shoppers over 4 days. Now, with the new format, they're extending the opportunity for you to shop. This year, it will start November the 17th and run all the way through November the 30th. Vendors will have individual shops to showcase photos and descriptions of their products on the event's website. The virtual marketplace is free, and a portion of those proceeds will benefit the Junior League of Indianapolis. New details: Metro Police is dropping its helicopter and aviation program because of cost. The department says buying a new helicopter would cost them between $5 to $10 million. Leasing one would cost them about $3 million. Metro says it's looking at a possible arrangement of using the state police helicopter during major events. IMPD says it rarely used its current helicopter this year or last year. On top of that, the department also tells WRTV that it cannot find parts for its 1965 Bell Jet Ranger, which is the helicopter. Our coverage of Democracy 2020 now at 6:09. The deadline to request an absentee ballot, the day in Indiana, is October the 22nd. But before, you're encouraged to apply as soon as possible, because some people are facing delays as we speak. Among them, Ruth Warner. She tells WRTV that she applied for an absentee ballot on September the 12th, and she is still waiting. Warner wanted to vote by mail to avoid possible exposure, of course, to COVID-19. She's willing to go to the polls to make sure her voice is heard, but now she's not sure if she will be allowed.
I don't want to go to the polls and wait in line for an hour or so and be turned away, but I can't get an answer from the Marion County voters registration. I don't think I'm going to get it. I get all my other mail, and mail that I've sent out seems to be received. So I'm really frustrated, and I'd really like to know if I will be able to vote if I go in person, and what about all these other people who maybe have lost their ballots too.
So we are all about working for you, and so WRTV, of course, is getting answers for Ruth and anyone else who may be in a similar situation. The Marion County Clerk's Office tells us people who don't receive their ballot can contact the county election board to have the ballot reissued, or they can vote in person. Vice President Mike Pence will not vote in Indianapolis today after all. Vice President Pence has postponed his trip to the clerk's office here in Marion County. It's not clear why, but his office says the vice president looks forward to rescheduling his trip to Indianapolis in the near future. Of course, let WRTV be your central source for all you need to know before November the 3rd. Go to our Vote in 2020 digital section. You'll find everything that you need to know there, including who's on your ballot, where you can vote, and how early voting works. Most field trips aren't happening for students this year, but that's not stopping one company from teaching them about manufacturing. Coming up, how they're introducing kids to career opportunities, of course, online. But here, live in Studio A, the one and only Todd Clausen with a great forecast. Hey, TK.
Yeah, Raphael, it's going to be beautiful today with lots of sunshine. The skies are clear right now, and that's the way it stay throughout much of the day. However, Hurricane Delta is going to make landfall along the Gulf Coast later on this evening. I'll let you know what impacts that's going to have in our central Indiana forecast as we work our way into the weekend. Coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. In hiring Hoosiers, Manufacturing Day is a national effort to inspire the next generation of manufacturers throughout the month of October. For 6 years, Allegiant has been taking students on a field trip every year, right, to expose them to these careers. Our Amanda Starantino shows us how they're taking this year's trip online.
When I was younger, coming out of high school, honestly, I didn't know what I was going to do. I never seen myself in manufacturing. But today I love it.
Now 26 years old, Mylisha Pickens has spent the past 4 years at Allegiant in Indianapolis. They make door hardware.
Some boxes up top.
She started as a temp employee and was hired on to the Allegiant team within 6 months.
From there, I got hired on again as another team lead over the Von Duper line. So it's just been mountains climbing ever since.
Mylisha has moved her way up in the company. Now she's the second shift team leader for one of Allegiant's main lines. She says a career in manufacturing is a job that keeps giving.
I work with my hands every day. I'm always doing something. So you learn one thing one day, the next day you're going to learn something new.
Introducing students early to the manufacturing industry is so important because it is predicted that 4.6 million jobs across the country will be available in the next decade. But 2.4 million of those will go unfilled because of the skills gap in the manufacturing industry.
We're trying to do our part to ensure that the students and the next generation of manufacturers know and understand what opportunities are available to them.
High school students will virtually tour the Allegiant plants as Allegiant employees demonstrate what they do. These teens will hear from staff, local, state, and federal government leaders about why manufacturing plays an important role in Indiana.
Tremendous amount of opportunities within this plant even. You know, we have assembly, we have our shipping, we have material handling, and then there's things like supervision, or we even have things like chemists in the back. We have engineers, we have people that program the robots.
While a skills gap is looming over the industry, the Indiana Chamber says there are about 8,500 manufacturing operations that employ nearly 550,000 people and produce more than 27% of the state's total economic output. And those employees take home an average of about $77,000 a year, making this an opportunity for a successful career path for the next generation of Hoosier manufacturers.
It's a great place to get started, but then also a great place to continue your career.
If you like working with your hands, if you like technology, if you want to be a part of change, be a part of the future, come to manufacturing, just because it's so many things change. We work with robots. I've seen so many things. This is just an amazing opportunity. It'd be great.
Our Amanda Starantino reporting there. Allegiant is making a recording of that virtual field trip for schools who want to request it in the future. Also, Allegiant is hiring, which is also more good news. For all the information to get a copy of Friday's event for your school and for hiring opportunities at Allegiant, go to our website, hiringhoosiers.com, and of course, you could also click on the story for more details. Now time to check in with Todd Clausen. And Todd, one of my favorite words of the week is Friday.
I was wondering where you're going to go with that, Raphael, but I agree with you, and I think almost everybody agrees with that assessment. The weather's really going to cooperate on this Friday. It's going to be a very summer-like day. Our average high, you have to keep this in mind now, is 68 degrees, so we shouldn't even be getting to 70 for our high temperatures. Well, today we're going all the way up into the 80s with those warm temps. Here's the one flaw, though. Gusty winds out there this afternoon. They're going to kick up to about 20 to maybe 25 miles per hour at times, but if that's the only flaw that we have in a forecast on an 83-degree day in October, that's getting a little nitpicky out there if you ask me. So it's really going to be a nice day for us. 40s right now in Lafayette to Thorntown to Tipton to Muncie. 44 in Richmond. A couple 50s here from Indianapolis down to Martinsville, but you'll definitely need, I think, the light jacket at least initially here this morning. But as soon as that sun comes up, we will warm very quickly. The problem is sunrise now is not until 7:50 here this morning. Some clouds faded away throughout the overnight hours. We'll expand out, and there's a couple features to show you. You do notice some clouds right along the Ohio River. That's part of the remnants, or not the remnants yet. It's still a hurricane, but it will be parts of the remnants of Hurricane Delta as we work our way into the coming days. So look at the timestamp here. I'll switch sides for you, get out of the way. Here we are, 7 o'clock in the morning. We are nice and clear. As we get into the afternoon hours, as that hurricane starts to get closer to making landfall in Louisiana, we'll start to see some of the clouds spread to the north. So for those of you in southern locations, your skies will go from mostly sunny to what we'll call partly cloudy throughout the day today, but you remain dry. And then there are a few showers are starting to show up here in southern locations as we get into the overnight hours, 2 a.m. I really don't think that this is going to amount to much at all because the air is just so dry. So even if its radar is showing some showers there, it's probably not going to amount to more than a sprinkle in places like Bedford over towards Mitchell and eventually into the Seymour area. So this morning, quick warming. We're already above normal by the time we get to the noon hour at 73 degrees. By 2 p.m., we're up to 80 degrees and then about 82 to 86 degrees for your high temperature today, depending where you live this evening. If you have plans, say you're heading to some high school football games just out on the town, remember it is a little breezy even into the evening hours, but look at those temperatures. We will be in the 70s, and then for your Saturday, we start off partly cloudy, turn it mostly cloudy throughout the day. So there's definitely a little more in the way of cloud cover for your Saturday and your Sunday. But for the most part, we remain dry. The best chance of rain will be Sunday night into Monday. That's when a cold front will come through. Not a lot of rainfall heading our way, but you do notice the temperatures cool off a little bit as we get into the middle of next week. Raphael.
So Todd, I'm keeping an eye on a trouble spot on the city's northeast side as we look at your traffic now report at this moment. This is, of course, a traffic situation, a live look at I-465 at Fall Creek Road. As you can see, the left northbound lane of 465 blocked at Shadeland Avenue due to a crash. And as you can see, it's starting to cause some slowdowns in the northbound lanes. Of course, this is always a very busy part of our interstate system, so if you can find an alternate route this morning, please do so. Otherwise, as the traffic builds this morning, you'll see that these slowdowns, of course, will make it much harder for you to get around the accident. But it appears that they're trying to clean this up as quickly as possible. We will keep an eye on the situation throughout the morning. If you get a call asking to donate to police, it could be a scam. Coming up, how you can know if you are really helping out law enforcement or if your donation is going somewhere else. Let's go back outside now. Good morning to Noblesville, New Palestine, and Nashville. There she is. Oh, glory. All of those cities, by the way, and towns, all great places to call home. Look at there. USA, USA. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV on this Friday. At 6:24, let's check out what's trending at 6. Sesame Street, always a great place to be, is teaching kids to stand up against racism in a new special. The show called The Power of We aims to define racism for young viewers and show them how it can be hurtful. It also urges children who encounter or witness racism to call it out. The special airs Thursday next week on PBS Kids and HBO Max. Sesame Street, always a great place to spend your time with Cookie Monster and Bert and Ernie and, you know, Big Bird, Big Bird, there he is. Good morning to Jennifer McLeod, who's on the left, and Kimberly Bostic, who's on the right. Jennifer and Kim are our hometown heroes on this Friday. Good morning, ladies. They're members of the leadership team for Starfish Initiative. The group connects youth with mentors. Congratulations to them and all those making positive changes in central Indiana. We thank them, and we also are very thankful this Friday for what will be and for what is really a great Friday forecast.
You know, Raphael, it really is. Here we are, October the 9th, and we're talking about temperatures once again climbing up to the 80s. So as we work our way throughout the day today, everybody gets into the 80s. The Indianapolis temperature didn't update on me when I plugged it in, but we should get up to about 83, 84 in the city as well. 86 in Terre Haute, 85 in Columbus with lots of sunshine. There will be a bit of a breeze today. You'll notice that as the day goes on. It'll start to kick up, and for some of you, it may be a little gusty, but overall, it's a really, really nice day, keeping in mind that our average high is 68 degrees. And look at that bar graph as we go throughout the next couple days. We'll be hovering right around 80 today, tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday before some cooler, more seasonable weather starts to make its way into the area next week. So enjoy the warmth. We do have some minor rain chances in the forecast as we get into the tail end of the weekend and Monday. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
So we have a caution about some questionable charity calls many people are receiving this month. Consumer reporter John Mattery shows you how to double check that group so you don't waste your money.
With everything going on this year, people are getting more and more calls to support their local police. Now, leaving politics aside for a minute, how do you know if those calls are real? Wendy Beckman got a call the other day from a man asking her to help retired police and firefighters. Being a generous person, she agreed to mail them $50.
My brother was a cop, my cousin was a cop, one of my sons is a cop, so I really want to support the police for what they do.
But then she started to worry, especially when she couldn't find the group listed as a charity anywhere online. She remembers news stories from 2 years ago about a man who raised thousands of dollars for the Shop with a Cop program, then allegedly spent it on personal expenses.
I got burned a couple of years ago when I found out another charity I was contributing to was not a real charity, so I thought I should probably check this one out.
So what should she have done? Well, the Better Business Bureau says if anyone calls or knocks asking you to help the police, the best thing you can do is ask them for information before you agree to donate.
The words police and the words firefighter, they're not trademarked. So it's very easy for scammers to use those names and create fake organizations. And it's very easy to catch the eye of someone who's...
Sarah Kimmerer of the BBB told me you should look them up at the BBB website, or Charity Navigator, or GuideStar.org. It turns out Police and Fire Retirees is a legitimate nonprofit lobbying group, though it's not a charity under IRS rules. Wendy's fine with that and will sleep better now.
Sure that there are a lot that are just not on the level, and so you kind of have to be cautious.
Still not sure? Call your local police department and ask if you can donate to them so you don't waste your money. I'm John Mattery. Good morning, Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Friday morning, here is your 6:30 news feed. A crash shut down part of I-74 in Hendricks County overnight. That crash happened around 1:30 this morning near the Pittsboro exit. Officers on the scene say a semi crashed into a bridge carrying Jeff Gordon Boulevard across the interstate. The impact scattered debris across the highway. No injuries are reported. That highway is back open at this moment. TSA agents at Indianapolis International Airport say they stopped a man from carrying a loaded handgun onto a plane. Agents say the stop happened around noon on Wednesday. They say an Alabama man who had a .45 caliber handgun in his carry-on bag. A first-time offense for carrying a loaded handgun into a checkpoint is a $4,100 fine. A northern Indiana man who allegedly stabbed his 10-year-old son was shot by police officers after shooting towards them. Police say that 32-year-old William Sendelbach was waiting outside his Wabash home Thursday morning. A Wabash police officer was hit in the leg by Sendelbach's gunfire. Sendelbach's son remains in the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Indiana State Capitol Police are looking for an arson suspect, and they hope that you can help them out. They believe the person seen here set a fire inside the IMAX parking garage at White River State Park last Sunday, October the 4th. That fire happened around 5:45 in the evening. The person was captured on surveillance video starting the fire in a large trash bin next to a public entrance. If you have any information about the identity of that suspect, you're being asked to call Crime Stoppers on this Friday morning. And new claims for unemployment benefits are up again in Indiana. The Department of Labor says more than 11,000 Hoosiers filed for regular unemployment benefits for the first time last week. More than 36,000 Hoosiers applied for some type of unemployment last week. That's an increase of more than 5,000 from the previous week. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Friday. I'm Rafael Sanchez. Lauren Casey is off. The reason we love Indiana is because we can see all four seasons in a minute, or in this case, in a week. But today, right, Todd Clausen, we're going to just enjoy summer.
Yeah,
in fall.
Exactly. You know, it's cool, and that's the good thing about this time of year. You can cool it off at night, so you have good sleeping weather. You can give the air conditioners a break. But some days you can warm it up real nice, and that's what we're going to do here throughout the day. Today, we're sitting in the 40s and 50s here this morning. 55 in the city, running a little bit warmer than the outlying areas. 49 currently in Peru as well as Tipton. Richmond, the cool spot at 44 degrees. It's 46 as you make your way over into the Greencastle area. But the skies are mainly clear. There's a little bit of cloud cover to our south. This is part of Hurricane Delta throwing some clouds to the north. You see some of the rain from that system now in northern Alabama as well as Mississippi. The clouds will increase a bit in southern locations this afternoon. You'll notice that just a little bit, but overall it's going to be a very sun-filled day for us. Starting off on the cooler side with clear skies this morning, 53 degrees at 8 a.m., 74 already by the noon hour. That already puts us above normal with high temperatures today topping off in the low to mid 80s. The one little flaw that you'll notice this afternoon is the wind, Raphael. That's going to kick up, could be gusting up to about 25 miles per hour.
At 83 degrees, we will take any kind of wind. Todd Clausen, thank you so much. From a great forecast to good news. This from the city's northeast side. As we check your morning commute, as you may recall, a couple of minutes ago, we saw bumper-to-bumper traffic in this part of the city. But I-465 at Fall Creek Road, there had been a crash in the northbound lanes causing a slowdown in the area. But as you can see, that crash has been moved off to the shoulder of the interstate. You should still use caution, right? But traffic, as you can see this morning, is moving very smooth in that area. No other problems to report here on Good Morning Indiana during your morning commute. The time now is 6:32. Let's take a look at the impact the pandemic is having on our state. The state health officials report nearly 1,500 new coronavirus cases, meaning since March, nearly 130,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. Health officials also report 16 new coronavirus deaths. More than 3,500 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19 since the pandemic began. The virus continues to take its toll on Indiana's hospitals. Health officials are concerned with a growing number of infections overwhelming hospitals near South Bend and Evansville. This morning, statewide, 32% of the state's ICU beds remain available, and 79% of the state's ventilators are also available for use statewide. This morning, an entire group of students at the University of Southern Indiana in Evansville on quarantine. This comes after having close contact with a member who tested positive with COVID-19. The school officials will not release the group's name because of confidentiality. Now, this is the second time an entire group at USI has been quarantined. Since March, 170 students and 18 employees at the Evansville school have tested positive for the virus. The time now is 6:34. A Central Indiana school is moving forward with its plans to put students back in the classroom. The students at Greenfield Central High School have been on a hybrid schedule since mid-August, but starting next Monday, they will be back in the classroom 4 days a week, with each Wednesday spent at home doing virtual learning. The school's principal says while the hybrid plan has improved health and safety, students' academics and emotional health have not fared as well. Greenfield Central schools have had only a handful of reported COVID-19 cases this school year so far. It's also back to in-person learning for students at a college that had to briefly go virtual. Last week, Franklin College in Johnson County decided to move all classes online for 1 week because of a spike in COVID-19 cases among some of its students. But administrators say the situation has improved. The students will return to their regular classes starting on Monday as well. This morning, Indianapolis has tied the intentional homicide record after the shooting death of a man on the city's northeast side. IMPD was called to the area of East 30th Street and Keystone Avenue, this around 6:30 Thursday evening, on reports of a car crash. Now, when officers arrived, they found a man dead inside the vehicle with apparent gunshot wounds. His death is the 153rd intentional homicide of the year so far. We spoke to an officer on the scene who said they're trying to get a handle on the increasing deadly violence, but they need your help. If you have any information about this situation, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. Right now, Greenfield police continue to search for a man considered armed and dangerous. Several law enforcement agencies are assisting in the search for 37-year-old Michael Riddle. He was last seen wearing a blue t-shirt and black sweatpants. He is wanted for 3 felony drug and weapons-related charges. They say if you see Michael Riddle, don't approach him and call 911 right away. The pandemic has taken a toll on attractions in downtown Indianapolis that depend on you visiting them. Coming up, our Kelsey Anderson is live with a new program hoping to get you back to downtown Indianapolis. We want to thank you for starting your day right here with us on Good Morning Indiana. The time now is 6:38. Since the pandemic started, Indy businesses have struggled and they now need your help. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson, she's live this morning with how one organization hopes to bring you back to downtown Indianapolis. Kelsey, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So tourism is obviously down across the country, but here in Indianapolis, it's been down since March, since the pandemic shut a lot of things down. And so now, whether it be a staycation or if people are coming into town to visit you as restrictions are easing, Visit Indy has just what you need to get back downtown with the Indy Attractions Pass. So the pass gives you the opportunity to buy one ticket that can get you into the Children's Museum, Conner Prairie, the Idle Jorg Museum, the State Museum, and the Zoo. They offer a 1- and 3-day pass, and Nate Swick with Visit Indy says this is a fun, safe, and budget-friendly way to get out into the community.
And this is a great way to experience that while also getting out and helping the hospitality community, because like I said, we think this will drive visitors to the attractions, but also if you go to the museum, then you might stay downtown at a hotel, or you might also go to a restaurant, which also all need the help right now.
So the 1-day pass is $42 for children and $52 for anyone 13 and above. And then that 3-day pass is $68 for children and $90 for anyone 13 above. And you can get these tickets right now, and they are good for 90 days. But if you do choose that 3-day pass, just know you have to use those in 3 consecutive days. You can't break it up over time. Raphael?
What a great idea. We really want to support those businesses, because when you support those businesses, Kelsey, we're supporting families. But I have a question for you. It's a good idea with these passes, but how could I get to stretch that 1-day pass? Is there a way to do that?
Yeah, there definitely is a way to do that. Okay. So it says 1 day, but it's actually just 24 hours. So if you go on Friday at noon to the Children's Museum, you can go the next day on Saturday. As long as you check in to a different attraction before noon, you can go to make it a 2-day event on that 1-day pass. And the same for the 3-day pass, you can make it 4 days.
I love that idea. So you can make this thing really go much farther than you expected. And if you have a big family, what a great way to save money. Kelsey Anderson, thank you so much. We'll see you a little bit later. Movies Under the Stars, the 29th Heartland International Film Festival. As you can see behind me, it is underway. Not in Studio A, but let me take you out to the Tibbs Drive-In, which is serving as the host site for this year's festival. They even had a drive-through red carpet to kick things off. Heartland is having to go virtual with most of their screenings this year, of course, because of the pandemic. But Tibbs will host 29 films over the next 10 nights. There will also be a drive-in showings at Conner Prairie next week. The festival, put this on your calendar, runs all the way through October the 18th. It's been a colorful sign of hope and progress during the pandemic, and on Thursday, the Pinwheel Gardens at Franciscan Health added a finishing touch for 2020. Workers made the final pinwheel placements of the year at the Southside campus. Each of these pinwheels represent a patient who had COVID-19 and has been discharged from the hospital. So far this year, they've had 477 people successfully treated at the hospital, and we're glad that they're home with their families. A beloved member of the Indianapolis Zoo passes away. Coming up, how zoo officials want your help to remember her. And of course, this is one big storm. Hurricane Delta continues to inch toward the Gulf Coast. The latest from Louisiana, where preparations continue at this hour. But first, let's check on your local forecast with our Todd Clausen. Good morning, TK.
Here in central Indiana, Raphael, no weather-related issues for the day today. In fact, it's going to be a fabulous Friday for us, starting off in the 40s and 50s this morning as you head to work, as you come home. Nothing but sunshine, and look at that high temperature, all the way up to 83 degrees. How long is this summer-like weather going to last? I'll let you know coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time now is 6:45. The community is invited to celebrate a woman who dedicated much of her life to improving downtown Indianapolis and really the entire city as a whole. Tamra Zahn was the founding president of Downtown Indy, Inc. Last week, the organization announced she died suddenly. Downtown Indy, Inc. calls on a civic icon whose passion for downtown led to national recognition of outstanding revitalization, development, and beautification. A public celebration of her life starts at 11 this morning on the south side of Monument Circle. Masks are required as several community and city leaders will speak, including Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett and former Mayor Bart Peterson. If you have any personal pictures of Sophie, the Indianapolis Zoo's elephant matriarch, the zoo is encouraging you to post them on social media. On Thursday, the zoo announced the 52-year-old African elephant had died. Officials say the animal care team made the difficult decision to euthanize her after her health took a turn for the worse. Sophie came to the Indianapolis Zoo back in 1989. This loss comes about a year and a half after a virus struck the zoo's African elephant herd, killing 2. The time now is 6:46, and this morning, Category 3 Hurricane Delta gaining strength, as you can see, as it moves closer and closer, of course, there to the Louisiana Gulf Coast. The National Guard and search and rescue teams are on standby. That includes members of Indiana Task Force 1 who are waiting in southern Louisiana. Tarps are continued to cover homes damaged by Hurricane Laura a little more than a month ago, but officials in Lake Charles, Louisiana, which was hit hard by Laura, urging people to get out of harm's way.
What we have been through with Laura, looking at Hurricane Delta, really is a scary proposition for Lake Charles. And so I cannot encourage people enough to evacuate the city of Lake Charles.
This morning, tropical alerts stretch from Texas to Mississippi. And our Todd Clausen, you've been tracking the storm as well, because so often these large, massive storms could have an impact not only on Indiana, but people that we may know along the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, you know, obviously it's been a very active hurricane season along the Gulf Coast, and a lot of times we can get some moisture, not so much the wind from these systems, and they can give us some pretty good rainfall, which we desperately need here across central Indiana. The problem is this system not going to give us much relief from the rain at all as it makes its way on shore here later on this afternoon and into the evening hours. Here's the center of the storm. Not that real well-defined eye that you normally see with a hurricane, but it still has a very good symmetrical shape, which means it's continuing to strengthen. Sustained winds around 120 miles per hour expected to make landfall there in Louisiana later on this evening. Closer to home, the northern cloud shield from that system making clouds increase here at this hour across southern portions of central Indiana here, but they really shouldn't progress too much further to the north here this morning. Later on this afternoon, you may notice a little more in the way of cloud cover in southern locations, but we will remain dry throughout the day today. One thing you will notice today is going to be the wind. It's really going to start to pick up as the day goes on, and eventually by later on this afternoon and into the evening hours, we're looking at wind gusts between 20 and about 30 to maybe 35 miles per hour in spots. So just know it gets pretty windy later on this afternoon. The winds remain pretty high throughout the overnight hours. Here we are Saturday at 5:30 in the morning. Still wind gusts up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. And then throughout the day, the winds will start to subside. So it's a breezy stretch of weather, but it's going to be a very warm stretch of weather. We're sitting at 55 right now in Indianapolis, and you notice the winds are light here this morning, so it's not an issue right now as you walk out the door. Temperatures outside of Indianapolis are in the 40s in many locations. The cool spot all morning has been Richmond at 44 degrees, 46 in Greene County. Castle, 49 in Bloomington. Lots of sunshine today from start to finish. Notice that noon temperature, 74 degrees. That's already above normal. We should only be at 68 for our high this time of year. And then we'll be climbing all the way up into the low 80s for your afternoon high later on today. As TrueCast shows you, the clouds will increase a bit this evening in southern locations. It remains dry, though, for high school football games this evening, although, as I mentioned, it's going to be very windy for those games. And tomorrow morning, very early, even before sunrise, TrueCast trying to bring a few scattered showers into the area. I don't think a lot of this reaches the ground, but for some of you, tomorrow morning, Bloomington to Greensburg and points to the south, there could be a stray shower, but it doesn't linger very long. But there's definitely more clouds around throughout the day tomorrow than what we'll see throughout the day today. Sunset this evening is at 7:14 for high school football games or any other plans. Temperatures will fall only into the 70s, so we don't have that real quick drop off temperature-wise like we've seen the past few days as those clouds start to increase. Best chance of rain Monday. It's not a great chance, to be honest with you. It's just some scattered showers moving through as a cold front passes. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, still above normal with sunshine. Raphael highs in the 70s.
And so, Todd, we are cruising into a great weekend as we take a live look now from the city's southwest side. This is I-465 and Washington Street. As you can see, all is going well here. Some minor hiccups that we had this morning have already been cleared. I-74 near Pittsburgh is A-OK, and we had an accident near Fall Creek Road. That is also A-OK. We're having a good day here in central Indiana. Members of an anti-government terror group face charges after they plotted to kidnap Michigan's governor. Coming up, Governor Gretchen Whitmer talks one-on-one with George Stephanopoulos. Plus, the end of the work week is here, and we could use a little positivity, right? So coming up, how a daily drink and a TikTok video landed this skateboarder. What? A new truck? Put me on a skateboard. That story coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana. The end of the work week is here, and we like to get things started with a bit of positive news on this Good News Friday. A 12-year-old already in college to become a neurosurgeon is breaking down stereotypes about immigrants. Christian Armanti was born and raised in the United States by parents who came from Colombia and Venezuela. He isn't just an Arizona State biomedical engineering student. Armanti, you see there, he sings, he plays the trumpet, the piano, and he can dance and he can act. His favorite music is mariachi from Mexico, and Armanti reminds everyone that it does not matter where a person is from. Here's the key thing. It matters what's inside. What a great message on this Friday. This morning, a flooring store in New Jersey is repurposing its shipping tubes to help homeowners stay safe this Halloween. Fox Floors in Ocean Township, which is along the Jersey Shore, is offering its large cardboard carpet tubes to be used as candy chutes. Check this out. That way homeowners can stay a responsible 6 feet from trick-or-treaters. Hopefully we'll see some of that creativity in central Indiana. A California rancher is single-handedly saving more than 24 homes from a raging wildfire. Vincent Martin's secret weapon is a bulldozer more than 50 years old. His strategy was to create a fire break around his ranch. But as the flames from the glass fire rapidly expanded, his goal also grew. He kept going, creating a longer defense line that stretches 2 miles long. It's a strategy he learned when he was a teenager. Holy cow, that's amazing. A nurse on the front lines coming to the rescue. Little Bodie Hall was born with a rare kidney disorder and was in need of a transplant. His dad wasn't a match, and his mom already donated her kidney to Bodie's older sister, London. His parents posted online asking for a donor, and that's when nurse Taylor Pickarinan saw their plea. Turns out the nurse working in New Jersey was a perfect match. So many great things come from New Jersey, like Todd Clausen. So she traveled back to her home state of Minnesota and donated her kidney on her own birthday. Taylor says she didn't think twice about donating. The Halls say they're grateful for her gift and hope her selflessness will inspire others to donate. Way to go. It's a video that's garnered over 28 million views. Idaho warehouse worker Nathan Apodaca says his car broke down, so he skated to work and on the way and shot a short TikTok of himself drinking juice and singing along to Fleetwood Mac's dreams. He also didn't post a video, but doing so has paid off. Ocean Spray gave him a truck that's, of course, filled with all the juice that he could drink. He says he feels blessed. So the next time you want something great to happen, put it on TikTok, get on a skateboard, Todd Clausen, and hopefully it's 80 degrees where you live.
All right, and that's what it's going to be here in central Indiana the next couple of days. So. Yeah, get outside, get some exercise in, whether it's skateboarding, walking, running, riding your bike. It'll be a great opportunity here throughout the day today with sunshine. Gets a little windy this afternoon with a high of 83 degrees. 80 tomorrow, a little more in the way of cloud cover, but mainly dry. Best chance of rain, some scattered showers on Monday when the cold front goes through. That cold front drops the temperatures to more seasonable levels heading into the middle of next week.
Have a great weekend. Up next, Good Morning America, and we will see you Monday morning. Lauren is back. Of course, all the news you need on the WRTV app. Have a good weekend.